Okay, now I'm going to show you how to install the rear wheel on the Sprinter 3R. This is a 3-speed unit, so the hub's a little bit different. First thing we have to do is prepare the wheel by unscrewing the nuts on either side to give ourselves some space on the axle for the dropouts. I'm going to unscrew the acorn on the left side. This yellow non-turn washer comes to the outside. The silver washer goes to the inside. Okay? Now I'm going to lift this up here, and I'm going to open up the brake again to open up the calipers so that I can slide the wheel in. I'm going to hold this under the dropouts and pull the chain back to wrap the chain around the sprocket. Pull this up into the dropouts. Slide it back into the dropouts like that, and then start to tighten these nuts. I'm going to finger tighten them first, here and over here, making sure the yellow non-turn washer is on the outside. And then I'm going to get my 15mm wrench, and I'm going to pull this back on this side to tighten the chain. And then tighten this nut. Then I'm going to straighten the wheel out here to get it in the center, and then tighten this nut on this side. All right. The 3-speed wheel is in, chain is taut. Now what we have to do is connect the bell crank and the shifter. Now on the 3-speed package, you got this shifting rod. The shifting rod is greased, and it slides into the axle on the right side to that hole, and pushing it in and out is what will actually change the gears. To do that, there's a bell crank at the end of the shifting cable that fits on to that nut like this. You hold this on, and then you tighten this screw. Now this is very important that you tighten this screw down just enough to hold this screw against that axle, and don't over tighten it. You can potentially break this case if you over tighten this. The best way to think about this is there has to be an air gap between this screw and that housing. And if you look straight down on it here, you can see there's an air gap. You don't have to tighten this against that point. Okay, and it's secured. It's very simple to loosen it. One turn, it comes off, or a quarter turn, it comes off, back on, like that, and it's secured. All right? Now, to adjust this, we want to make sure that a yellow line is going to move to the inside of this. It's going to go back and forth here as we shift it. And in second gear, we want the interior yellow line to go between those two outer yellow lines. So it's a little dot. All right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach up to the shifter up here, and I'm going to shift to gear number 2. And there's the yellow dot that appears between the two yellow lines. There's gear number 3. There's back to 2. So this is adjusted properly. If this was not an adjustment, there's a little adjustment barrel adjuster right here that you can loosen the locking ring there. It's a 10mm, and then adjust this. And then you can get that line right to where it has to be. But from the factory, it already looks like it's adjusted properly. There's gear number 2, here's gear number 3, back to 2, and then gear number 1. Okay?